sponsored by Squarespace. When 2023 rolled around, I had my eyes on Chinese cinema like always. My heart prayed for it to be good, but my brain was full of my usual cynical attitude. So when Zhang Yimou's Fall River Red garnered only mixed reviews, when Ride On turned out to be a mediocre film about Jackie Chan being a good father, oh that's rich. When Lost in the Stars made waves on social media only for people to realize it was mostly hot air, I was bracing myself for the usual disappointment. At the end of every year, I like to make a video highlighting something good from Chinese cinema because deep down, I still love it. I wouldn't care so much otherwise. So I kept following. July came, Never Say Never came out, and it was pretty good. Chang'an came out, and it was really good. Creation of the Gods came out, and all my friends went apeshit about the action, the drama, the art direction, the special effects, the topless dudes dancing, the 62-year-old sex icon Fei Xiang daddy. What in the horny is happening? Suddenly, good movies were coming out, and overlooked movies were gaining traction. The expected cringe blockbusters, the one with gold chisel titles, never came. This year felt different, and you have no idea how happy that made me. This is why in this extra long video, I'm not just bringing you one movie. I'm recommending a whole bunch, all made in China, each appeals to a different set of audience. Sit back, these are my favorite Chinese films of 2023. Let's start with the high recommendations. Mainstream films with broadest appeal, enjoyable for everyone. Before the rise of gods and emperors, it was an age when history and legend was one of the same. The newly crowned King Zhou is a tyrant, usurped his father by means of assassination. The moral act angered the mandate of heaven, bringing calamity to the world. Facing impending doom, the next rightful ruler of the kingdom shall rise to challenge the tyrant. And that rightful ruler may just be Tyrant Zhou's adopted son. Based on a classic Chinese novel, Creation of the Gods tells the story of an ancient war that established the Chinese pantheon. It is a very competent and entertaining popcorn epic with a lot of muscles and Daddy Fei Xiang. The tactile costumes, props and sets capture the aesthetic of Bronze Age China while remaining fantastical but not absurd. The action and acting are serviceable, made better with the excellent dialogue, written with a strong classical flair. Sadly, the English subtitle didn't reflect that part. Let's cut to the chase. Despite the advertisement making it seem like a VFX-filled action fantasy war epic, you will not be enjoying any of those elements. No, this movie is all about drama. Take a look at this scene. Here, the king is having fun with his concubine. When the queen interrupts them. Right off the bat, we have a high tension set up. The queen would rather die than to see his husband turning into a tyrant. The scene then takes a turn. The concubine casts a spell on the queen. Mesmerized, the queen approaches, flirtatious, enamored. And then... Damn! That scene was 5 minutes long. This movie takes its time to build suspense. More than once, I find myself on the edge of my seat, anxiously anticipating to go south. This applies to most scenes in this film. Solid filmmaking, very entertaining. China always wanted to make a fantasy war epic in the same league as The Lord of the Rings. That, of course, is not likely to happen. Even Hollywood couldn't repeat its own success. That said, Creation of the Gods may have missed the stars, but it still landed on the moon. It was said that during the Tang Dynasty, people in the capital felt no need to lock their doors at night. It was a time of wealth and prosperity when people felt safe and at peace, when art flourished. Gao Shi and Li Bai were two ambitious young poets, two friends on the journey to pursue official ranks, to leave their marks in history. But the two quickly realized that behind this prosperity is a deeply corrupt and stratified society, where noble lineage trumps talent, where the peasant voice cannot be heard. That is the story of Chang'an, an animated film based loosely on the lives of two real-life poets. Poetry is a big part of Chinese culture. We have game shows about reciting poems. Nearly every Chinese person can recite passages from any of the poems I'm showing on screen. Give them the first half unprompted, and there's a good chance they will complete the rest out of pure reflex. That is the familiar lens given to the Chinese audience, and through it, we get a glimpse into a history that, at times, feels eerily relatable. One of my favorite bits from the film is when Li Bai is about to marry into a wealthy family. Doing so means he will become an accessory to the rich, removing any chance of leaving his mark in history. Uncertain about his decision, Li Bai consults a respected friend. But his friend couldn't hear the question. All he sees is a flag that asks yes or no. Without context, the supportive friend chooses yes. Seeing his future disappearing in a puff of smoke, Li Bai seeks comfort in wine and Gao Shi's company. Gao Shi, knowing the extent of Li Bai's wasted talent, is furious about his decision. So, he parts ways, leaving behind one word: no. What a poetic and powerful image. Through moments like this, Chang'an tells a grand historical and biographical story about heroes in a world that doesn't need them. I could have had class, I could have been a contender. It is an experience many of us find relatable. Regrets, to be washed away by history. Despite its deep cultural roots, Chang'an is incredibly accessible. The English subtitle did a splendid job at conveying the depth of its subtext. Sprinkled in with short bursts of action, and you have a vibrant yet subdued movie. Definitely one of the top films of the year. What does your 2023 movie list look like? Have you thought about starting a blog and sharing your thoughts? With various social media becoming increasingly chaotic, now is the best time to free yourself. Start your website with Squarespace. With Squarespace, you can easily create your website, blogs, portfolios, or web stores using professionally made templates. Or if you are feeling adventurous, start from scratch. You are not limited by the rules and aesthetics of the social media platforms you are on. All contents uploaded belong to you. You don't have to worry about billionaire tantrums. Start your free trial at squarespace.com/accentinema. Use the code accentinema to get 10% off your first purchase. Not sure if you want to commit? No worry, the trial is entirely risk-free. You don't even need a credit card to sign up. So, take control of your content, make your website with Squarespace. Up next is two very popular films. Both are highly requested on this channel for their merits, but I personally don't have a lot to say about them. The Wandering Earth 2 is a prequel, which means you don't have to watch the first one. In this sci-fi disaster movie, the sun is dying. Facing extinction, the world tumbled into chaos. In a fight for survival, soldiers, scientists, politicians, and civilians all came together to make an impossible mission a reality. Their mission: use massive engines to push Earth away from the solar system towards Proxima Centauri. If you thought the premise from the first film was ridiculous, this movie will not change your mind. I wish they added more to the concept, maybe talk about why a continuous existence is more valid than, say, digital necromancy.
But the digital you can live forever, theoretically.
While the film has hints of that debate, it pretty much assumes victory right from the start. It adds little to the premise. Everything I want to say, I've said it in our video about the first film. Narratively, the film is more interesting than the first one. It has an ensemble cast with no singular heroes. By chronicling grand events, the film is better at conveying the appropriate sense of scale. It's an overview of humanity as a collective, and it has to be viewed as such to be enjoyable. Ultimately, it's an adequate disaster movie with a fine enough story about making tough choices. When most Hollywood movies talk about not trading lives, it's interesting to see a film that actually pulls the lever in the trolley problem, jarring as it may be. Deep Sea is best described as a film heavily inspired by Spirited Away. This is what a 3D Ghibli film should look like. Even the characters bear some resemblance, albeit with some 3D jankiness. The film tells the story of a young girl from a broken family. While on a cruise ship, the neglected young girl finds herself transported to a magical underwater realm. Lost and helpless, the girl is forced to work for a greedy restaurant owner. And then, a whole bunch of random stuff happens. Yeah, that's the best summary I came up with. Deep Sea isn't a story-focused film. The vast majority of the plot is concentrated in the first and last 15 minutes. Character motivations are hard to follow. The girl sees this monster and immediately says "Mom" for some reason. Mama. Things just happen. It is weird, but maybe that is the point. This is a movie you need to zone out to enjoy. Let it wash over you with its serenity. Its dazzling visual transports you to another world, where logic simply doesn't apply. Eventually, I stopped paying attention to the dialogue, and it did become more enjoyable. This is why I never made a review of this movie. The fewer words I put onto this film, the better. Let's quickly go through a few honorable mentions. Originally a big shot screenwriter, the protagonist is now just a humble eulogy writer. All that's left is his pride. Nevertheless, for every word he conjures, the eccentric writer will spend his days researching, getting to know the clients, strangers who are often too late to meet. That is the story of All Ears, a bittersweet collection of encounters, no grand spectacle, no fancy cinematography. All it has is a meditation on life's most difficult questions. As someone who's also a loner and similarly fiddles with text daily, it's easy for me to empathize. Whether or not you enjoy it, I think, depends largely on how much you see yourself in someone else's story. Hachiko is a Chinese remake of a Japanese classic, which was based on a true story. America also has a remake called Hachi, A Dog's Tale. The poster may seem like a run-of-the-mill, heartfelt comedy from China, but in actuality, the film is more indie new wave, with a big emphasis on the city of Chongqing, its residents, and their daily lives. Unlike the other two versions, the Chinese remake is told solely through the perspective of the human characters and tackles very human problems in China, such as housing and animal rights. It's a fresh remake, and for that, I think it is worth a visit. A Guilty Conscience is not a mainland film but a movie from Hong Kong, but I'll be remiss if I don't talk about it. It is currently the highest grossing Hong Kong movie ever and the only Hong Kong production to break the top 10. It's an investigative courtroom drama about a murder case involving massive abuse of power by wealthy social elites. At every corner, our protagonist gets shut down. The underdogs have to crawl away to find justice. It's satisfying yet sobering. The film is not based on a real case, but this kind of class conflict isn't rare in Hong Kong. The movie makes very explicit condemnation on this very phenomenon, the context of which, I think, would echo with people from around the world. And then there's my favorite film, not just from 2023, but for the past 5 years. Once a young and optimistic civilian scientist, in 30 years, Mr. Tang has devolved into a crazy old man, looking for alien signals by staring at TV static. His space exploration magazine is facing bankruptcy, and his business ventures all go hilariously wrong. So, when news of an alien sighting came, Mr. Tang and his co-worker all journeyed to Western China in search of a miracle to turn their lives around. That is Journey to the West, a seemingly humorous and absurd mockumentary about the hidden depth of the human heart. Take this young woman for example. In the middle of Mr. Tang's journey, she enthusiastically joins the team. When asked why, she says she's always interested in UFOs. She said when she was a child, she saw a bright dot in the sky, a UFO, she believed. She excitedly shared her findings with her dad. Her dad brought her a pair of glasses the next day. Reality became clear. She was merely staring at a lamp across the street. Mildly funny, a bit depressing, kinda absurd. Later, her parents divorced. She moved out with her mom.
我说爸爸去哪儿了？然后他跟我说，你爸爸就被你看到那个飞碟抓走了。
Funny, depressing, absurd. She knows she never saw any aliens, yet she continues to hope for the impossible. Beyond this absurd quest for truth behind a conspiracy, every person has their reasons, their actions irrational, emotional. Yet so does the reality they face. Life in its own way is just as illogical. As they stare at the universe and see themselves, I stare at the film and saw my own reflection. Teenage me was just the same kind of idiot who believed in alien conspiracies and get made fun of by YouTubers. But just like them, I didn't believe it because I thought it was true. I believed it because I had a need to. I needed to cope, to see the absurdity in reality so I may laugh at my own situations. That is the kind of comedy this film is. It starts off mildly funny, but with each passing minute, it becomes harder to tell what is comedy and what is reality. Are you seeing the film, or are you seeing yourself? It is a meandering road movie best experienced with minimal expectations. If you enjoy artsy, indie, meditative films, Journey to the West is quite special. In one scene when Li Bai parts ways with Gao Shi, Li Bai says,
长风破浪会有时，直挂云帆济沧海.
It seems after a decade of uneven performance, more and more Chinese filmmakers are setting sail. All of the movies I recommended today, even the remake, feel unabashedly local. Mythology, poetry, adopted from short stories, discussing social problems, reflecting cultural mentality. The days of aesthetic excess and blind imitation is finally over. I hope next year, China's cinema will journey beyond the horizon and takes us to places we have never been before. I can't wait to do this more in the future, and I hope you continue to join us in this adventure.